Welcome to Kaiser Watch with John Kaiser. I'm your host, Jim Goddard. Best of the season, John. What's coming up on the show today?
Well, we're going to talk a bit about the bottom fish collection, a new map system I've created that's turned the website into a bit of a Winter Wonderland, and about what the 2024 favorites collection might look like.
So just how did you turn Kaiser Research Online into a Winter Wonderland?
Well, Jim, back in 2018, one of my summer intern students developed a map system where all the projects of the companies that I have in Kaiser Research, which is the Australian and Canadian listed resource companies, we were able to put their projects as icons onto a Google Earth map, and it was based on Google's Fusion platform. And this was fabulous. You could zoom in and out, explore where the projects are, what's in the vicinity, and also see where the clustering of projects by the companies are turning out to be. And plus, I could do all kinds of other filters and add criteria to it to specify certain areas, like companies that have a lot of money, or companies that have a certain percentage of people, insider percentage, all kinds of criteria to create the specialized map. But Google pulled the plug on it because they couldn't figure out how to make money from it, so it just plain vanished. Well, in the past month, I've resurrected all that work with a new platform where the maps are now once again part of Kaiser Research. Each company profile will have a map that features that company's projects, and then there will be, for example, my news release pages where I have all the news releases from the current week and last week. One is for the Canadian companies, the other is for the Australian companies. There will also be a map showing where the flagship projects are of the companies that have published a news release. And this thing's cool. You can zoom in and out, and when you click on the icon, a little pop-up comes up which has the name of the company, the project, the stage it's at, the little chart so you can see how good or bad company has been doing, and other factoids such as who the key people are, how much working capital they have, and what fully diluted is, plus a link to the most recent news release. And if there's a KRO comment, most recent link to that comment also. And the reason I developed this was the Kaiser Research search engine is really powerful, and the result displays are very good, has a lot of information in it, but it is linear, and you have to look at you have to come up with an idea of what you're searching for. And so I found myself kind of just plodding through that, and it became tedious. And I realized a lot of my subscribers, they don't use this search engine, even though it is extraordinarily powerful for people who know what sort of combination of criteria they are looking for. Now you can go to a map. Say you go to the lithium metal supply page in the website. There you'll see where all the lithium projects in the world are. Same with gold projects, same with copper project, and you can explore particular regions. If you're into the claystones of Nevada, you can check out all those companies there, and it's a more intuitive, exploratory way of coming up with ideas. So I'm pretty excited about making this available, and the reason I call it a Winter Wonderland is when you look at all the colors, I've coded them according to the different stages. I've also have shapes like a diamond for the flagship project, a square for the secondary ones where something's still happening, and a circle for the projects which the company still has on the books, but nothing is really happening with it. But it lights up like a Christmas tree with all these projects displayed. So that's why I call it the Winter Wonderland, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's only going to be available for subscribers because this has a lot of powerful information behind it. But I'm pumped about the new map platform that I have for Kaiser Research.
What does your 2024 bottom fish collection look like?
Right now, I've added about 80 companies, tagged them as 2024 bottom fish. There are more coming. The situation right now is quite grim out there. of the TSX venture listings that are in the resource sector, there's about 1,149 of them that show up in my listing. 40% have negative working capital. 17% have between 0 and 500,000 working capital. 44% have more than 500,000 working capital. And then, of course, 53% of the venture companies are below 10 cents. So we're talking about a very, very deep bottom for this junior sector. And it is a very distressing situation for the resource juniors. There's now lots of talk about the resource junior ecosystem approaching collapse. People are focusing once again on the problem of selling on a downtick, being able to do intraday short selling. There seems to be a mistaken focus on naked absolute short selling, where people are somehow running large, naked, uncovered, with no stock borrowed short positions on juniors. But I don't think that's the real problem. The real problem is that juniors have a hard time building a bigger market cap on the back of incrementally positive news. Because if positive news comes out, the existing shareholders might get excited and buy more. Others see that, oh, this is something happening. They come in and buy it. The stock goes up. And the sellers aren't so much existing shareholders, although the ones that did flow through private placements and have warrants and that and are doing clip and flip, they're out there selling away. But it's these traders that work for the banking sector that they just sell into this. They understand that there's only so much risk capital going to flow in, and they sell into it when it looks like it's starting to peak. And then they can continue to sell on a downtick, and that's how they turn the momentum around so that the stock will end up exactly where it started before the positive news came out. And of course, as it reverses, existing shareholders despair and sell and enable these traders to flatten their position, because you only need to intend to borrow stock in order to go short these days. And the reason they had to get rid of the uptick rule was because for insane reasons, they have these multiple order execution platforms, which makes it impossible to establish whether a trade that is designated a short sale is actually at a price higher than the last different price, because you have these things crisscrossing each other like ships in the night, so it's impossible to be in compliance. So they said, well, let's get rid of this rule period so that there is no problem. So this has really put a damper on the resource junior sector. The 5% plus interest rates that you can now get in money market funds isn't helping. And financing during the second half dropped substantially. It was about half of what it has been since the middle of 2020, when we thought we had a big turnaround on the backs of gold going through $2,000. In total, the venture companies, the ones that have positive working capital, there's about $4 billion sitting in their treasury. But here's the scary thing. The ones that have negative working capital, it adds up to $3.3 billion of money owed to service providers, accountants, who knows what, even management accruing salaries that they're getting for not really doing much anyways. This is all never going to be paid back. It'll be settled for paper at some point. So doing bottom fishing is kind of a scary thing. And with the map system, I've created one where on the map show up the flagship projects of companies that have, where insiders own at least 5%. Working capital is $500,000 or bigger. Market cap is below $500 million. And that I call my sort of potential bottom fish map. And I went through that yesterday and was able to find a whole bunch of companies that qualify for the collection. But I also did one where I said, okay, companies with no money and insiders own less than 5%. These are all zombie companies, and I call this map the Zombie Land map. So you can go and explore that and see where the dying companies are collected. So the bottom fishing collection is going to be interesting. I'm taking the approach that if this doesn't turn around next year, this resource junior sector, we will have truly crashed through the extinction thresholds. The brokerage sector no longer really supports the resource juniors. The life exemption is still really only made efficient for the brokers, the brokerage industry itself, and not yet for companies dealing directly with individuals. The new CDAR Plus Click-A-Lot takes 20 clicks to get to a document. I haven't found a single person who isn't appalled at how horrific this supposed improvement of the old CDAR is. It's as if the regulators hate investors, want them to go away, want them to know nothing, not research anything. So there's this big gloom over everything. I'm changing my pricing model. All subscriptions next year will expire December 31st under the old 450 model. If you subscribe now, you get it to the end of the year. Existing subscribers will be prorated when they come up for renewal. They'll only have to pay to the end of what's left, say half of 450 if it's June 30th when they renew. And for anybody new who wants to sign up, it's going to be 450 until basically the end of the year, by which point a $200 a month auto renewal system kicks in. And that puts me in a position where the end of next year, if this has gotten even worse than 2023, I might just retire from this whole business, because it's insanity if you keep expecting something different to happen and you keep doing it.
John, what will your 2024 favorites collection look like?
Well, I was really pumped at the start of this year with my favorites collection. I had about 15, 16. They covered a wide variety of concepts, exploration stages, metal focus. But the whole thing is down 22% from the start of the year. There's only one significant winner, or two significant winners. One is Brunswick, which is up 68%. The other is Colonial Coal, up 39%. Both of those are going to be continued as favorites for 2024. West Vault, it's still kind of flat. That one will also be continued. Solitario, I've temporarily given it a bottom fish collection a tag, because it's really cheap now. I don't think it'll be cheap next year. It will also be continued for the new year. But all of the rest are going to be demoted to the bottom fish collection, which is disappointing, because what am I going to replace them with? I have a few in mind. People will be surprised at what I do pick. If the favorites don't have to do 500% or better, if they're going to deliver a double with a reasonable liquidity so you can buy a meaningful amount, that's going to qualify for the 2024 collection. And we'll announce them at the end of the year when we, December 31st, we'll figure out all the pricing and have them launched, and people will be able to see them January 1st around that period. And we'll have one more Kaiser Watch session at the end of next week, where we'll talk about some of the winners that we've seen this year and what I hope is going to unfold in 2024.
John, thank you so much for the update, and I hope Santa is very generous.
He's put a lot of lumps of coal into my stockings this year, and he better replace them with something better for next year. Thank you, Jim.
I'm Jim Goddard. Comments made on Kaiser Watch are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at kaiserresearch.com.